Good morning. It is 6:08 a.m. Saturday, March 1st, and I am laying in bed contemplating getting up. Actually, not contemplating too much. Delaying. Maybe that's more accurate. Delaying getting up. Actually, I'm just enjoying laying in bed, to be honest. My dog Murphy hasn't come in yet to let me know it's time to go out, which he usually does around 6:30 or so, or a little after, and that's the beginning of it. And then we get ready, and I take him on his walk, and the day starts, and things happen from there. But it's the beginning of a new month. It's been a little while since I've chatted with you, and I thought it's time to just press record and see what happens. So, hello everyone, my name is Dee, and welcome to Uneven. It's nice to lay here. I could record like a 3-hour podcast and I wouldn't have to get up, for 3 hours. But I'm not doing that. But it is good to talk with all of you. It's been a little while, and I'm sorry I haven't been around for a little bit. It's not, I don't know, sometimes I get in moods, I think, where it's easy to record a podcast and other times when it's not. And to be honest, which is what I do here, that's all I do, that's what I hang my hat on, so I try to do that as much as possible as I can. But to be honest, I think it's more my mood. I've been really focused on the business of our uneven community, and this last month February, we switched to a paid platform. We did 4 months free. Inviting people in and, telling everybody that this will be a paid platform. Everybody knew that, but allowing them 4 months to check it out and come online. And we've developed a real awesome core group of members and some amazing team members. In fact, we just launched our nutrition space. That's a subgroup on nutrition and diet led by a certified nutritionist, dietitian. And that's kicked off. So, but all exciting things going on. But also, since that was the transition into the paid, there was a lot of behind the scenes work I did. We kind of thinned out the people that were online because a lot of them, were just people who had popped in to check it out, but weren't paid customers. And not because we're not about the money, where all that goes. I've talked about this before, but for us to keep this site going and growing, and to become state-of-the-art and have really quality people helping out people, we have to bring in revenue to pay for what we do. It's that simple. You can only do it for free for so long. And I work with other people who have done free groups, and I've done, free podcasts for a long time without any income coming in to speak of. And you could only do that for so long. You got to find a way to make a living to provide this service and make it sustainable, and that's why we do that. So anyway, finish that transition. That's been a lot of work getting that up to speed. But I love it now because we have this amazing foundation at Uneven. Go check it out, uneven.life. Come check us out. We'd love to see you. But we have an amazing community online, and we do 7 or 8 sessions a week. Live sessions where people get to chat with each other and learn from each other and grow and have support during difficult times of anxiety and anxiety meds and antidepressants, dealing with tapering or post issues, bind, whatever it is that people have. We talk through that and we help people. And we also have social events and we help lighten people's mood and do positive things. And it's just exciting. We got a great team here and it's really exciting. And I love what we're doing. So please check us out at uneven.life. We'd love to see you. As my mouth is getting dry right now. Maybe I should take a swig of water. Cool sound effects, huh? I always have a bottle of water next to my bed, so I drink that a little bit here and there. But what's been going on lately? I mentioned that I've been working mostly, pretty much 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. That's been my schedule now for the past 4 or 5 months, and it's okay. That's what you do when you're launching a business. This is how it is. So it's just taken a lot of time, but also with a lot that we're working on. So I'm cleaning up my website. Anyway, backing up a minute. So what I was saying was that was our plan thing. So starting March 1st, which is today, we're going to kick off our promotion, and I'm blocking out March as being okay, now that we got down to a core group of members and really good members who are active and involved and love being there, now it's time for us to let the world know that we exist and to encourage people to come. So we're kicking off a lot of different promotional things throughout the month of March. And part of that has been getting our website up and running, getting that set up, getting some domains and branding set up, reinitializing our social media, which has been pretty interesting, and then also trying to get some support, maybe some consulting support or something on marketing, so we can get positioned right and let people know we exist. That's really what it's about. I truly believe we have an amazing product, an incredible product, meaning I really believe once people come to our site and get involved and work with other people and work with our team leaders and work with other members and find what we have, that most people would stick around, because I think it's extremely valuable. I don't believe you can get anything like what we're providing for the money. I just don't think that exists out there personally. I don't think there's a team better than the team we put together. I can tell you for sure, few teams, if any, out there have the experience we have the research backing, have the support backing. We've been doing this for over a decade. I've been working in this industry for over a decade, providing support through podcasts and through awareness and through trainings and through all kinds of different things and research. And so I think we provide an excellent service to people, and I hope people will come check it out. It's still 2 weeks free right now. Come check it out, and you get 2 whole weeks there. Cancel anytime, no charge, but you can come on for 14 days straight and check out Uneven. Okay, that's uneven.life. Come check us out. We'd love to see you. I will stop now with the promo and move back into what I was talking about, which is promoting. And I just wanted to let you know that we are getting back out there. So right now I just restarted our Facebook page. I just changed over our branding on our X account. I'm going to dive into LinkedIn here in this month and get that up and running. Those are kind of the 3 big ones we're kind of focused on right now. We are now uneven across the board. So we are either uneven or the uneven life in the full context. That's who we are. And so on social media, we are at the uneven life, and that is our social media handle. So anytime you want to find us on Facebook, on X, on YouTube right now, and on future ones, come check us out at the uneven life, and we'll see you out there. Please sign up. Follow us. We have some of our team members running these different accounts and trying to get them up to speed and get some activity going on them, and it's pretty exciting. So we're having a lot of fun reaching out and getting back into the community with that kind of thing. So that's one of the things I've been doing, and it's been interesting because one of the things I noticed, and on a more personal note, I was very reluctant to get back into Facebook for a lot of different reasons. Just not been a fan of it, to be honest. It's very confusing on the back end between business accounts and pages and personal accounts, and many times I run into a wall or something, or where as soon as I signed back in again, Facebook instantly told me that my post was not valid. I said something like, I've been away for a while and I'm back now. And it was like the very first post I put on there when I came back on, and Facebook said I violated their rules. I'm not sure how I did that, but I've had like 3 errors already violating the rules when I've done absolutely nothing wrong, and there's nobody to talk to. I can't go check it out. I can protest it. I think I can, but even the protesting has very specific reasons why you protest and doesn't allow you any flexibility. It's that kind of frustration. It's the world of automated decision making without having any human interaction that I'm not a big fan of. And we're going to dive into that here in a little bit as we talk about AI and a few other things, because something's happening. And I want to talk about that. But let me just finish this up. But social media is, there's a reason I haven't been in it much. And I'm not in it much. I only have social media accounts that I use to promote my business. That's it. I don't do much. So we have our uneven page on YouTube. We have our uneven page on Facebook now, and we've had for a while our uneven page on X or Twitter. And I get on there just enough to promote those. So having some other team members who actually like social media and can help me promote those is awesome. And I'm going to try to let them run those and keep that outreach going. I rather focus my energy in the uneven community where, people are full-time members, and that's where I can work with them and help with them and create content for them, and also do, of course, our podcast, and of course also do research and different awareness teams that I'm on and work through that kind of stuff. But that's what I'm doing. So we're going to be doing more of that. You might see us out there in the community as far as promotion, and we're looking at our different promotional channels, spending a little bit of money, hopefully, on promotion to get us let people know we exist and what we're doing, and it's going to be exciting. So we're down to this core group of people, but we're going to start growing that number, I hope, significantly in the coming days. But I love the way we did it, because by doing 4 months free, and then even this past month of transitioning, so 5 months behind, we've had a chance to really build our foundation, figure out our policies, figure out how we do things, build the team of really qualified people, put some spaces out there. Our spaces are our subgroups, and build our spaces on our site for people and the content people want to see. And I think that's given us a big chance. So again, check us at uneven.life. I said I'm going to stop that, and I am stopping that, and I'm moving on. And a little more water, because I wonder if I'm clicking. Ever do that? It's kind of... Dehydration, I learned when I first started doing a podcast, is not beneficial for recording, because you sometimes get these clicks, and you don't even notice them, but there's these clicks in the back of your throat sometimes you'll get, and they'll be picked up by the microphone, but you may not hear them yourself when you're doing them. And hydration is very important when you're recording and doing voiceover work or that kind of stuff, which I've done some in the past, and it's important to learn that as you do that kind of stuff. So anyway, hopefully that's not happening here, because it's very difficult to edit that out. It takes a lot of time and sometimes can't be done. So, but I was mentioning about getting back into social media, and this is where I wanted to go with this. And I had some realizations lately, and I wanted to talk about this topic a bit. And that is about our society, as I break in my voice, our society moving so fastly with the technological advancements. And there it goes again. This is fun. Just ignore it. I don't know why my voice is cracking as I'm laying here in bed, but it is. Technological advancements going on. And I don't know why, but just in the last couple of weeks, I've had revelation of some kind that I wonder if right now, this is just my guessing, I wonder if right now we're in a period of a week or two even, that we might look back and say, yeah, that was the time that happened. And I'm not talking politics or the transition going on now in the U.S. and other places. I'm not talking anything outside of just sheer technology here. And that's AI. And I mentioned this before on our podcast, but what I've noticed was different, and it was a new term that came up, and I watch some videos sometimes on AI because I'm curious and I like science and I like tech, and I sometimes like to follow that stuff. I think it's cool. I think it's been pretty amazing, especially in the past, to learn about the things that mankind has created and the things we can build. And oh my God, it's just been incredible to see all this stuff. But some of these things are also a bit frightening. I think AI is one of those ones that can be both. But I wonder if it's trying to compare it to like when we developed the atomic bomb. Watched Oppenheimer a couple months ago, and it was an interesting take on what happened. It was interesting to see the history behind some of what was going on. But did we really realize at that time, did we really think through that once we let the genie out of the bottle, there was no putting it back? And the rationalization for why you do it, which carries over to today, is, well, if we don't do it, somebody else will. Almost this thing of there's no stopping it. Somebody's going to create this. And it's better us than them. I think that was a lot of the rationalization, right or wrong. That's what happened. And the genie was let out of the bottle. And our enemies, I'm talking US here since that's where I live, but our enemies at the time also developed nuclear capabilities. And many countries now have nuclear capabilities. And we've had many times in our history, like Bay of Pigs and other ones, where we may have been only minutes from the global destruction of the world, to a degree. And yet we survived. We've gotten through it. And I think that's both an accusation of humanity and also a recognition of its humanity. Of humanity's humanity. Meaning we saw where we were going, and somehow enough people agreed that this was not a good direction and we need to stop. Outside of the fear and the Cold War and everything else, we have stayed, we avoided nuclear disaster, and that's been a good thing. With AI, I wonder if there's a similar trajectory, I hope. Meaning, we're going full bore ahead, full speed ahead on this, and our arguments are quite similar. Well, if we don't do it, somebody else is going to. Somebody with nefarious intentions. Somebody who doesn't have humanity, focuses as their primary moral compass. Not that we do. I'm not putting us above anybody else, because I think we don't always do a good job of that either. But we're telling ourselves this. But it's even different this time. And what I think is different, it's almost like, in my mind, we're not even noticing it. With nuclear, we had the bomb go off in Japan, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 2 different bombs. And I think it was pretty hard to not see that moment. That was a moment in history, and it was pretty clear, I believe, at the time it happened. Everything changed. Are we at that moment now? We've talked about AI and these large language models and all these things like ChatGPT and all this stuff that's coming out. And yeah, I've been seeing things and stuff like that, and hearing stories about what this will be, but it was only the last couple of weeks I've started to see what it is. And maybe I'm a little behind the curve, which I typically am. But what I've noticed is a few things. One is, every place I go, AI is popping up. Every online, everything I work on, AI is popping up. Oh, use AI to do this. Use AI to do this. Oh, by the way, would you like to have AI write this for you? Oh, you want AI to do this for you or this for you? Oh, have this AI talk to this AI. And that's where I'm going to mention something about in a second. But it's popping up everywhere. It's here. It's here. And almost every day something new is coming out. Almost every day I see news or something about it, the latest AI that just knocked off the previous AI on speed records and responses. And AI is starting to create AI. And you ask some experts, in fact, I saw a video from somebody proclaimed the godfather of AI, who said it's already conscious, or at least some of the models already are. And it depends on how you define that. What I noticed recently, not only is these things popping up all over the place and what we call AI agents, that's a term I learned recently, and one that I think is going to infiltrate our entire lives in ways we never expected. But what I realized recently is how this is affecting our everyday life, and we don't even seem to notice it. I mean, we notice it from the aspect of, wow, isn't that cool? I can just go to ChatGPT and ask it a question, and here I have my answer, and this is awesome. This is like the best thing ever. And I hear that from people, and I'm just loving this. And it's like, wow, we live in the day and age where I have answers at my fingertips. And for some reason, there's a part of me that is just saying, this doesn't feel right. I had that with some political movements in the last 10 years and some other stuff where I couldn't always put my finger on it. It was hard for me to define it, but it just didn't feel right. And now some of those have come true, and I understand why it didn't feel right. And I feel like this is one of those things too. This doesn't feel right. And it comes back to our humanity. Humankind, we are not only about having things at our fingertips, having things happen in an instant. You know, right now we can type in a request and an AI engine will give us an answer. And I was watching a video the other day on how that moves into voice, and now we got the voice recognition, and now AI can provide answers. And what's the next step? And we get to the neural link, and we get to these different connections. And then I even saw something about predictive AI demand, meaning that AI provides to you what you want via connection to your brain before you know you even want it. And my question in all of this is, to what end? What is that getting us? Is that making our lives better? Seriously. Is it really making our lives better in the long run? Not the short run. It's cool and fun in the short run, but what is it doing in the long run for us? Is it making our lives better? And that's a tricky question, because what is better? We are human beings and we need certain things. We need validation. We need meaning. Yeah, pleasure's great. We like that. And having answers is great. But what happens when you no longer have to work to get that answer? What happens when you no longer have to work to write that article, to produce that video, to write that book? What happens when you jot down one sentence and say, I'd like to write an article, which I did just the other day because I was just testing it out. I was on X, and this is one of the things that was the crossover, but just write an article on benzodiazepines because I was just testing it out to see what would happen. Write an article, a cited article on benzodiazepines, and and its relationship to long-term complications with individuals covering withdrawal or something like that. In about 3 seconds, I had 8 paragraphs. Well written, pretty darn accurate. It's not perfect yet, but pretty darn accurate. And this is something I think I have the background to judge the accuracy of this stuff. And fully cited. In fact, my name showed up in the citations because I was an author on one of the papers that was pulled in. Why would I write an article myself anymore? Is anybody still writing articles themselves? And if we're only reading articles written by computers, what's that doing to us and our humanity? One of the big changes that just happened recently that made me question part of this was where I went to write that thing. I haven't paid for ChatGPT, so I don't have it. But then up shows these other things like Copilot on Windows. And then you have this DeepSeek that came out of China. Where I noticed this was I pulled up that X account that I talked about to help promote Uneven. And 4 spots down on the left menu on the X dashboard, or whatever you want to call it, is this person called Grok. No, it's not a person. It's the name that Musk or whoever put together for X's version of AI. And it's free. No barriers. It's free. I've gone there a few times lately just testing it out to pull up something, and I type it in there, X pulls it up right away, and it's pretty accurate, needs work. According to some of the bellwethers recently I've been seeing, it blew out some of the other ones like ChatGPT and DeepSeek even because of the new Grok 3. And it's funny because as soon as I see that Grok 3 or whatever it is, Grok 2 or whatever, is better, the next day I see that ChatGPT 5 is better, and then I see, and there's a new one. I mean, it is literally happening daily. The exponential growth of AI is here. And I don't even know that we're noticing it. I'm starting to. But it comes back to, what does that do to our humanity? When we don't have to strive for things, when we don't have to go to a library, which is a long time ago, but I remember the days when we don't have to even do a Google search and look through 3 or 4 different top things to find the answer, when all we have to do is just even ask a computer to do our work for us, and it does it. To some people, they think that's incredible and wonderful and amazing. For some reason, to me, I cringe at the thought. Something's wrong. Human beings are not about just having the answers. Human beings are not just about having that thing we want right there in front of us before we even know to ask for it. Human beings are about the struggle. We're about the meaning. We're about the purpose. We need something in life to strive for. What does it do when we no longer have to strive for things? And not just the jobs, but the jobs are disappearing fast. What it does to our industry and everything, and maybe we'll adapt, maybe we won't. What does it do to us? Maybe, just maybe, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, but I am a little bit, and I'll try to lighten it up here in a second. Maybe, just maybe, AI does take over and destroy humanity. But maybe it doesn't do it through any violent means whatsoever. Maybe it just takes away our will to live, our will to invent, our will to be adventurous, to seek, to explore. Maybe it just slowly kills our will. And we become irrelevant. The other day I was talking to somebody online about writing a book. I've written one book already, back when I had to write the whole thing myself and there was no AI helping. I had to do Google searches and find articles and cite them and do all that kind of stuff. But now it would be different. It'd be quicker, for sure. But would it be me? I could write it without AI, and it could take me 6 months. I could write it with AI, and it could take me 6 weeks, maybe even 3. Would it be me? I've recorded this podcast before lately in my studio with these new blue lights behind me, and I'm trying to build out the studio. I'm still doing that kind of stuff, and more video, and I was doing it weekly and all this kind of stuff, and I realized it wasn't really me. This is me. These audio-only podcasts when I'm laying in bed or walking the dog or out on a road trip somewhere, where I just pick up the recorder and I talk to you. One-to-one. Yeah, we're using technology. Yeah, I have a digital recorder. It's transforming it to ones and zeros, and it's getting recorded by computer. And I do a one scan edit. I don't remove stuff much from these, but I do a one scan edit to remove, glitches and stuff like that. And I got to put on all the different metadata and all the, the thumbnails, and I got to create all that sort of stuff. And then I post it on Internet Network, and it goes out. So yes, it uses digital computers and probably AI in there somewhere, but in its essence, it's still just me, unscripted, just me talking to you. And that's where I want this to be more of. Maybe I'm anti-AI. I don't know if I would call it that, but maybe I am, but maybe it also means me being back at my core. I believe people, at least some people, are going to start seeking true human interactions. And it's going to be harder, and it's already harder to find those. Not only is it harder to find those, it's harder to differentiate when you have one of those, especially when you're on the computer. You pull up a chat bot or calling customer service, you don't know anymore. We're at that moment if you're talking to a human or a computer. How has that changed our lives? So I've decided I am going to take a couple steps back. While we promote our community and get that online and all that sort of stuff going and everything exciting, we're focused more on the human interaction, the one-on-one, the being ourselves, the having real people work with you, and that's where I want this centered. I believe that's what's important. Maybe I'll be left behind. And I'm not saying I'll never use AI for anything, but what I'm saying is when I talk to you on the podcast, it's just me. This is me, this is my voice, I'm a human being, and I care about you. I really do. I think that's what we're losing, and I want to be part of the side that's trying to hang on to some of that. That's trying to make life better for us in the long run, not just in the short run because we have some new toy to play with. So where do you go? What do you do? My wife's job's already started to be affected by this. I mean, AI can start to do some of the stuff she does for a living. My job is being affected by this. AI can write articles almost as accurate as I can, fast, a hell of a lot faster than I can. So why do I need to write my own blog articles when AI can do it for me? And I think a lot of us are lost. Where do we turn? Where do we direct ourselves? What do we become? How do we keep our humanity? And when you're dealing with anxiety, and you're dealing with possibly withdrawal or coming off of a drug, a benzodiazepine or Z drug or antidepressant or gabapentinoid or something, and you're extremely heightened and your body has symptoms and you're dealing with all the crap that goes with that, like a lot of people that I work with day in and day out. You have that extra layer on top of all this. When all that's going on, it just multiplies the difficulty 5, 10, 15-fold. But you have a choice. You have a choice to how attached you want to become to that life. As I do. And I want to be more attached to me and you. To the human element. The thing that AI can't do right now, and maybe we'll never be able to do, and that's reach out and touch someone. Talk with someone. Truly understand what someone's going through. Yeah, you might be able to teach some AI chatbot how to act like a human being, and maybe it can save some lives here and there. And maybe that's a good thing. Not saying I can foretell the future. Maybe it's a good thing. But as we've seen with cell phones and social media, we don't exactly have a lot of restraint. So what happens when those chatbots become our only friends? What happens when real relationships become too difficult for us to handle? What happens when real life becomes too hard and virtual life, interacting with computers, is all we can take? It's sad that we need chatbots out there to help people with mental disorders or psychiatric difficulties. It's a failure of our human support systems. Maybe we need to improve those more than substitute them with something else. Relationships are difficult, and that's a good thing. Anything worthwhile in life, in my opinion, is difficult. Anything truly worthwhile. When you take away that difficulty, you take away its meaning. When I was about 14, I had a paper route, delivering papers on for the Kansas City Sun, Johnson County Sun, I think it was Kansas City Sun in Kansas City, and I wanted a moped. Oh, mopeds were the hottest thing. They were the greatest thing ever. I wanted a moped so bad. My folks didn't have a lot of money, so buying one wasn't easy, but I decided I wanted to buy one, and I wanted to do it myself, and that's how I was raised. And so I bought a moped, and my parents co-signed the loan. That was very nice of them. I got a second paper out because now I had a moped, and I could do it in about a third of the time that I did it with my bicycle. And I paid off that moped in half the time of what the loan was for. And I rode that moped for another 2 or 3 years, even until I got a car. I didn't have my own car, but until I was able to drive a car at 16, I was driving that moped everywhere. It got me around. I would take it off-road. I would do all kinds of stuff that even mopeds aren't supposed to do. I loved that thing. But how much of that love wasn't just about the item, but about what I had to do to get it? That moped meant everything to me because I worked my butt off to earn it. If my parents had just given it to me, it never would have meant a third, a tenth of what it meant to me. There's something in humans' struggle to achieve, to succeed, to explore, to invent, to create. That's at the essence of who we are. And I wonder sometimes if that's slowly being taken away from us. Because machines can now do it faster, better, and even more accurately sometimes. I don't know. So now that I've thoroughly depressed you, I don't know why, I just really wanted to get this one out there. I wanted to talk about it because I do talk depressing things with you sometimes. I mean, I've broken down crying in the middle of a, Santa Fe, New Mexico hotel room with you. I've been caught in the rain in Mississippi. I have talked with you on sleepless nights where I have these random thoughts, and this one's been on my mind lately. I'm hoping I didn't depress you too much. But it's what's on my mind, and I share with you who I am. That's the connection. That's the humanity. That's what computers still can't do. And will never really be able to do. They'll mimic. And we may not, see? Computers can't, flub their words like I can. We may not be able to tell the difference at some point. But there's an essence of humanity in a person-to-person communication that I don't know that computers can or ever should duplicate. But that's my 2 cents. What's on the bright side? How do I leave this on a positive note? I'm thinking. No, there is a positive note, and that is we still have choice. I'm not saying throw all your AI tools out the window. I'm not saying never use ChatGPT. I'm not saying any of that. For me, I'm just saying what I'm doing. And that is limit yourself. I got it. Our site and on our podcast, I've talked 1,000 times about moderation, about balance. Find balance in your lives. We need to strive for some things. We need to look up things. We need to learn some things. We need to have purpose. We need to believe that the world needs us. We need to have value. And if all that's taken away from us, that's taking away a lot. And you get to choose. You get to choose what you spend your time doing. Maybe you don't always jump to Grok or ChatGPT or DeepSeek or whatever it is, or Copilot. Maybe you still go and do a Google search to find things up. Maybe you even open a book and read that book and highlight passages, as I still do and still love doing. And use that and have those ideas that an actual person thought of. Trigger ideas in my own brain that I get to share with you on this podcast or on our community, in our community. I don't think humanity's going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think humans are going anywhere anytime soon. And maybe we're going to get some pretty amazing gains from AI, and I believe we will. I think medical research alone, since it's an area I work in, can be mind-blowing when AI is let loose on medical records. It's mind-blowing how fast and how quickly we can figure things out, and may save millions of lives and make millions of other people's lives better. Maybe AI will figure out how to recover from benzodiazepine antidepressant withdrawal without having to go through all the crap we have. Maybe that'll happen. And that'll be good. We live in an incredible age right now where everything is changing, and we have a choice of how to look at that. For me, I still enjoy things of old. I'm old school in many ways. I watch old sitcoms, I watch old movies. I still prefer those most of the time. There's some good stuff that come out new to me, but I still prefer a lot of the old stuff. I'm also old school in how I learn. I still like a good book in my hands. Yeah, I research on Google and do other things when I'm writing my own book or when I'm doing the podcast, but nothing beats a book in my mind. Where you spend your time dictates how you live your life. If you're online all the time, on TikTok, on all these other places, that's also who you become somewhat. And sometimes we have to take a step back and realize life's more than that. Life's more than that. And then there's other interactions like with my dog. I just heard some nails clipping along the wooden floor in our hallway, and I looked down at the end of the hall and there is a big white dog. Well, come up here. And he just jumped on the bed and he is looking at me like, do you realize it's time for me to go outside and to go get a walk and all that kind of stuff? Is that right, Murphy? This is Murphy. For those of you who don't know, Murphy is my Great Pyrenees Border Collie mix. He's a beautiful puppy dog. I'm petting him right now on the bed. He's looking at me like going, you're a little behind schedule. It's a Saturday, Murphy. I'm sorry. I am going to be a little behind schedule. Why don't you lay down right here with me? Why don't you lay down? It's okay. I'm going to give me 5 minutes to wrap this up and we'll go outside. Okay? Is that okay? Just lie down. He usually lies down next to me pretty quickly, but I want to leave this on a more positive note because I do feel like this has been pretty dire, and the truth is I'm not all that negative about it like it might sound like. Where I am right now is more curious. I'm curious if right now we're at a moment where everything's shifting and we're going to look back one day and realize that's when it all changed. These AI agents popping up everywhere. And it was the beginning of that exponential change in life. Where it takes us, hey, nobody knows. It could take us to this utopia that we never dreamed of. Unfortunately, I'm a skeptic. And I often say, yeah, how likely is that? What my message is primarily this, is that life is hard, but it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be hard. Through that hardness is where we find its meaning. It's where we find our passion. It's where we find our resilience, our patience, our courage. All the elements that make human beings such amazing creatures. All the elements that make people so interesting. And me so focused on wanting to spend time with them, getting to know them, understanding them, building relationships. And those relationships are hard. They are not easy. But just like my moped, that's what makes them so worthwhile. I love you all, and I'll talk to you soon. See you next time.
Hey, this is Dee. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out our podcast. I do need to remind everyone that this podcast is for informational purposes only and should never be considered medical, psychological, or professional health advice of any kind. If you or someone you know is dealing with significant mental health issues, please seek professional help. Resources can be found in our show notes and on our website at unevenpodcast.com. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you on the flip side.